Hi guys, welcome back to another SSFAQ, and on today's episode we'll be talking about landed homes in Singapore. Owning a pure landed home in Singapore is what many Singaporeans dream to achieve within their lifetime. Pure landed being freehold or 999-year lease in nature, and this makes up about 4.9% of the entire housing market, or 73,000 odd available landed homes in today's market. This decisively makes it a very limited and valuable class asset of Singaporean real estate. So over here we have gathered the data and showed the number of landed homes in each district. As you can see, in totality there are about 73,262 landed homes in Singapore, of which 40,000 are terraces, 22,000 are semi-Ds, and only 10,000 are detached homes. It's interesting to note that District 19 has 11,000 houses and District 15 has 9.5k houses. And this is why it's no surprise why landed homes are highly sought after. Now that landed homes are in such a strong demand, it's important to know and intently understand which kind of landed home best fits your preferences and inclinations. So what we always tell our landed buyers or owners is that there are predominantly 4 groups of landed houses within Singapore itself. So over here, you can see that Group 1 will be the older, suitable for rebuild. Group 2 will be mature, suitable for A&A or major renovations. Group 3 are move-in condition homes suitable for minor renovations. And Group 4 will be brand new from the developers itself. When we say Group 1, we refer to the older landed houses in Singapore, usually the single-level structure ones that are about 30 years or even older than that. These landed homes are essentially meant for rebuilding. Essentially what you are purchasing is a blank canvas, albeit a very pricey one at that you will tear down and rebuild and redesign to your particular lifestyle and your preferences. Note that you have to follow the requirements based on the envelope control guidelines and the URA landed zonings. This entire process of rebuilding will usually take about 18 to 24 months. So if you have a standard timeline and not in a rush to move, this is unmistakably a good choice for you. Also take note that due to the pandemic, construction prices in terms of manpower and natural resources have spiked, and you can expect prices to be somewhere between 350 to 450 PSF. Based on land builders' advice and consensus. So you can expect a total range of about $1.5 to $3 million depending on the type of landed house you are staying in and the total build-up of it. Now let's move on to Group 2, the mature landed houses suitable for A&A or major renovations. When we talk about this group, we are usually referencing houses that are generally between 20 to 30 years. The entire structure of the house is still good, perfect for addition and alteration or major renovations. Based on builders' estimates, you can expect prices to be about 200 to 250. Again, this depends on the status of your landed home and if you're going to be building extra built-in spaces, which will bring the total cost to about 800k to about $1 million for your A&A works. The timeline for Group 2 is relatively shorter than Group 1 because you're not going to be tearing down the entire building, so you can expect your renovation and A&A timeline to be about 16 to 16 months before you can actually move in. Third landed group would be the move-in condition ready landed homes. So when we talk about this type of homes, predominantly they are the newer ones, about 10 to 15 years old. Houses like this are usually built up to the maximum potential floor size and are relatively well kept. Like I said earlier, the minor renovations that you'll mainly be looking at will be changing out the entire flooring. Let's say the kitchen does not suit you, you want an open kitchen concept, you want to put in an island, you probably have to gut out the kitchen. As the prices of materials and shipping costs have increased in the past years, you can expect a total cost for your renovation to be about $200,000 to $300,000 or about 160 PSF. Also, it could exceed this amount. It all depends on how extensive your renovation actually is. 6 to 9 months would be the duration for this entire renovation. So if your timeline is short and you need a place to move in the next few months, this option is definitely suitable for you. Finally, the last and fourth group will be the brand new landed homes that are bought directly from the developer themselves. Typically, these are Group 1 landed homes that were bought by the developers, rebuilt and put back onto the market. This fourth group of landed homes saves you a bunch of time and effort because you can purchase it and move in right away with no renovations needed. But of course, it comes at a hefty price tag. Also, you might not be able to move in immediately because you can actually purchase it when it's a building under construction, or BUC. So basically, developers will sell to you when they are in the midst of building, and you can actually put in extra inputs on the materials and functionality of the house to cater to your needs. Timeline for this can be either move in straight away or maybe 6 to 24 months. It really depends on when you purchase the house and which stage the house is at. Based on the 4 different groups of landed homes, we decided to do a comparison from 2020 to 2022 and see how the prices have changed. Note that these are only in the terraces and we're only looking at District 15, 14 and 19. So over here, if you take a look at the table, in 2020, Group 1s were going for about 2 million, Group 2 were going for 2.5, Group 3 were going for about 3 million and Group 4 were going about $3.5 million. Now fast forward into 2022. Group 1 have gone up about 75% to $3.5 million. Group 2 has gone up 60% to $4 million. And Group 3 has gone up 50% to $4.5 million. And Group 4 has only gone up by 43% to $5 million. As you can tell, landed prices have gone up in the past 2 years, but why? And which group of landed homes are driving the landed market to an upwards trend? The thing to take note is that the Group 4 brand new ones from the developers are the main drivers that cause this upward trend. How do they do it? Well, like I said earlier, developers will buy Group 1 homes, redevelop it and put it back in the market in about 18 to 24 months time. So this will actually create a new benchmark pricing because they bought it at a lower price. They have to increase it. They have to make up their margins. So this will be the new benchmark pricing in the estate, and this will obviously ripple down into the 3 other segments, and this will induce a new higher entry price for the 3 different respective groups. Coupling this with the rising prices in construction in terms of manpower and natural resources, we can understand why landed prices have skyrocketed in the past 2 years. Now that we've established the 4 different groups of landed homes in Singapore and their respective entry prices, there are important perspective things to take note of before you actually buy or sell your landed home. If you want something more palatable in terms of percentage points, then Group 4 might actually be for you. As from the graph earlier, we could see that Group 4 only increased by 43%, the lowest percentage point increment out of the 4 groups, while Group 1 on the other hand has surged up by 75%. From this perspective, you will be purchasing a brand new inter-terrace for you and your family that you can actually move in straight away, especially if you compare this to, let's say, Group 1 where you actually had to tear down everything and rebuild it in another 18 to 24 months of waiting time. So if you're more comfortable with going for a brand new landed home with a 43% increment rather than an 18 to 24 months wait and a 75% increment in Group 1 type of landed houses, then this is something that you can consider. On the other side of the coin, if you have a longer timeline and generous holding power, and you are really fixated on the idea of building your dream home, then Group 1 landed homes can be suitable for you despite the 75% increment. One way to go about this is actually purchasing the land, then waiting about 1 to 2 years, let the appreciation of the land go up even more, and then take out an equity term loan or a reconstruction loan to build up your dream home. You can consider exploring this perspective because yes, even though Group 1 has increased by 75%, it is still the lowest entry price point out of all the groups, roughly being about 3.5 million for inter-terrace. This strategy is also applicable to Group 2 homes, but obviously Group 2 homes are a little bit more costly, so your entry pricing is a little bit higher. Note that you have to take account for your rebuilding costs. Costs will typically be about from $1.2 to $1.5 million for inter-terrace, so all of this in totality might cost you just as much or even more than a brand new landed home. All in all, it really depends on your opportunity cost in time and whether you have long enough timeline to rebuild your dream home. Otherwise, it might be better for you just to move into a brand new ready home. But when it comes to rebuilding your own home and actually owning the dream house that you always wanted, can we actually put a price tag on that? So if you do have the budget for that, then by all means go for it. Just take note that these are perspectives that you should have before purchasing or selling your landed home. I hope that you enjoyed this episode so far and have a better understanding of the 4 different groups of landed homes in Singapore. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us or drop them in the comment section down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Alexis, Selling Singapore. Stay you in 2022 and I'll catch you in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this video so far. I hope that you enjoyed the video.